Back now with our breaking news on the deadly ICE shooting in Minneapolis. Moments ago, CNN obtained video from an ICE officer's cell phone that captures the confrontation with Renee Good that preceded, at least in part, her shooting. A DHS official confirms the video was recorded on the agent's cell phone camera. We do warn you, there is profanity. This is disturbing content. Here it is.
I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you.
That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking country. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car. Oh! Fucking bitch.
CNN's Josh Campbell is standing by to walk us through this. We also have John Miller with us, who we'll bring in here momentarily. Josh, take us through this.
Well, this is a critical new angle. This was the actual vantage point of the officer. And we know that not many immigration officers actually wear body-worn cameras. But in this instance, the immigration agent was holding his phone up, essentially filming this encounter, which we can now see in this video obtained by our colleague Holmes Lybrand. So in the video, you see that the officers are making contact with Renee Good there. She's parked somewhat perpendicular in a street. And there's another woman that's there, which is outside the vehicle. And you can tell, as the exchange there with Renee Good, that, she's being somewhat pleasant. The other woman is, kind of mouthy, and this is obviously a bit tense. She tells the agent at one point, why don't you go get some lunch, big boy. You also see critically, and I'll get to this in a second, bystanders behind the vehicle. We've seen other angles. This one shows us again the vantage point of that officer. Another agent orders Renee Good out of the vehicle. This agent then walks around. That is the moment that she then takes off. And on that audio, what we hear, it appears that you can actually hear friction on the phone. It appears from other angles that the agent was indeed struck by that vehicle, but you hear on the audio, it appears friction on the phone. That could be from the vehicle strike. That could be from, the phone on his clothing. But then it appears 3 shots were fired after that. And then you hear afterwards, it appears maybe an immigration agent who was there, actually, use profanity, calling her an effing B. Which we heard on the audio there. Now let's talk about the tactics for a second. So, I can tell you this as a former federal agent, that law enforcement officers can use deadly force only when necessary, when they believe that there is an imminent threat to their life. In this instance, you have a moving vehicle that's coming at that agent. Now, the driver, Renee Good, did turn the wheel to the right. So it appears that she wasn't, coming head on at that agent, trying to mow him over. But nevertheless, an agent in that split second, decision would have to make that calculation. Am I in danger? Is my life threatened here? Agents are also taught, what are other options? Could you move out of the way? And that's why this has been such a contentious issue here. The judgment, the decision of that agent to actually open fire. We've heard, obviously people supporting that decision, others being quite critical. One other thing I want to note is that when agents undergo training, and not just the feds, but law enforcement across the country, it is a cardinal rule that you are responsible for every round that you fire. And one key component of that is, to the extent that you have the time and you must be aware of what is beyond your shot, what is in the background. Here, it appears from that video that this other woman who had been engaging in with the agent was quite clearly in the line of fire, but there were also other people that were standing behind that car on the sidewalk, and this is a residential area. And so I'm sure that will face some scrutiny as well. The officer opening fire at that moment, directly, it appears towards those other people beyond the shot, and then his partners, and you brought this up, Brianna, just the other day, his partners are there in close range as well. And so this will be heavily scrutinized from a tactical perspective as well about the officer opening fire. But again, just critical new video here that we're seeing, an important angle, what the officer would have been seeing in the moment.
Yeah, the other officers from the other vantage point having a pronounced sort of physical reaction as the shooting happens as well. It's a tense situation between protesters and federal agents that we have been watching unfold as we speak. Local and state officials at this moment demanding the federal government allow them to have a role in the investigation. Let's head straight to Hennepin County, Minnesota, right outside of Minneapolis, where our Whitney Wild is outside of the federal building where ICE stages. Whitney, just set the scene for us. Last we spoke with you, we saw that there appeared to be some new concrete stanchions that were being put up, but now there appear to be some more protesters arriving.
Yeah, sorry, we're getting the pepper spray now. So forgive me, I have to pull my shirt up to talk to you, if you guys can still hear me. So here's what just happened. There are a handful of people here who are, you hear that song Ice Ice Baby, they're playing that, they're saying we love ICE, and they're getting in the mix with the crowd. And this is someone who seems here intent on agitating these protesters, saying that he loves ICE and he's getting in the mix, again, with a couple of other folks here. So here's what you're seeing. These federal law enforcement moving out, pushing the crowd back. They've let off dozens at this point of pepper balls to try to move the crowd back. They've gone pepper balls we've seen go as far in as the parking lot here across the street. This came just minutes after they put down those new concrete pylons so that no one would be able to drive or even really walk into the driveway here at the federal building or in St. Paul. So this is the type of thing we're seeing throughout the day where protesters are clashing with federal law enforcement. Federal law enforcement has a low bar for anything that they think is about to get out of control. So when they started to see this clash between protesters and this lone sort of anti-protester, they intervened and began to push the crowd back. And now you're not seeing it right at this moment, but minutes ago we saw them detonate pepper balls at the crowd here. Back to you guys.
And so, Earl, explain to us, this has been a bit of a change over the course of the day, and you've been there throughout the day, Whitney. So take us through kind of what you've seen, because there have been moments where things have been calm and there have been moments where they have been tense.
Right, absolutely. So that's absolutely right. This picked up, again, when there was that anti-protester here, again, someone who says that he's pro-ICE. And so, like you're saying, throughout the day, it sort of ebbs and flows. This is a bigger crowd than we've seen so far. Earlier today, we saw a couple of people who were detained after one woman slapped the side of a law enforcement vehicle. We really see the agitation pick up when they start to get close to law enforcement, or they feel like law enforcement's pushing them back. And but it has been pretty calm. We've only seen a couple of flare-ups until this point. This, I think, so far is the most dramatic flare-up we've seen between the protesters here and federal law enforcement. Brianna.
All right, Whitney Wild, keep an eye on things there for us in Hennepin County, Minnesota.